Beautiful friends, beautiful souls, I hope that you're having an amazing day so far, as we have so much happening around the globe with events and more predictions that have come into fruition, along with some new predictions that I have to present for you today that you're not going to want to miss. And in my last channeled prediction video I did last week, if you watched it, you'll recall a warning that went out to hospitals. Hospitals in the United States and globally being vulnerable of incidents, including incidents that involve, because sadly, right after I made that prediction, it became a reality in New Hampshire when a gunman went into a hospital in New Hampshire, causing terror to the people there. Sad events that have taken place. And that's not the only one. In just a week of making that prediction, in the country of Haiti, they were bombarded by a gang that blocked hospital access and even took some of the patients, or attempted to take some of the patients. So what's going on with all the hospitals being targets all of a sudden? Well, I'm going to fill you in on all the details about that today. Spirit also told us to be mindful when we're out and about shopping. And, telling us that several incidents, again, bang incidents that would occur, especially in places like Walmart. So, unfortunately, again, this is beginning to play out once again as a gunman entered a Walmart in Ohio, injuring four and claiming his own life. So how is this going to affect, Walmarts in the future? Is it going to affect them? Will we see more of these events play out before the year comes to a close? Hopefully not, but probably so, and I'm going to tell you all about that today. Many more problems are arising around the Capitol in Washington, D.C. A lot of people aren't familiar because your mass media is not telling you about this. First and foremost, the Capitol Police in Washington, D.C. just had some big events that happened. Is this a sign, perhaps, for what's to come? Is this going to lead up to another attack of some sort on the Capitol building? Because guess what else happened in the past week? The Capitol Police just suddenly, all of a sudden, began to conduct all these drills in Washington, D.C. and around the Capitol building. So what are they preparing for? And shouldn't they have done that a long time ago? Like beforehand? But now all of a sudden? I'm going to tell you all about this today and what the deal is with that, along with reminding you of some past predictions that I made about the Capitol building quite a few years ago, actually. So you may also recall that earlier this year, that I told you that there was going to be a target on the Christmas and Christmas holiday season, a target against holiday celebrations. I also said that quite recently as well. I predicted that we would see Christmas beginning to be canceled. Not necessarily like cancel culture, but probably so. But perhaps, sadly, perhaps so, it is cancel culture. And sadly, that prediction just came into fruition, where Christmas and Jesus Christ was born, the home of Jesus, is totally now being canceled. Taking down all the decorations, taking the little Jesus and packing him away, and the place where it all began, Bethlehem, PA. So is this, again, an attack specifically on Christmas and Jesus? I'm sure it is in one way or another, in a roundabout way. And what's this going to look like in the future when it comes to Jesus and the holidays? Because they want nothing more than to destroy Christ, of course. But that'll never happen. We discussed thoroughly in the past few months airports and airplanes. A lot about airplanes and airports. And I made predictions, including predicting that there'd be many airport shutdowns and evacuations of airports, which we did see occur already. But remember, I also mentioned 2023 that all the UFO alien stuff was shoved in our faces, right? The whole year. I remind you, we are still in that 7-year vibration that's occurring. All about ascension, all about our belief system. So sure, throw UFOs and aliens in our face to shift our belief system. Well, both of those predictions with airports and seeing more UFO stuff all came into fruition in India, of all places, where a airport was shut down due to a UFO. That's right, sending out fighter jets and closing down the airport. And interesting. I'm going to tell you all about that and more about airplanes and airports and flying. I remind you, we're still in that accident-prone energy. Just saying, friends. Just saying, we're in that accident-prone energy. So remember that Spirit has said that the global infrastructures Bridges, tunnels, all those things would begin to crumble, while others would be deliberately targeted. I had visions, if you recall, of several different tunnel collapses taking place. And this sad reality hit the people again in India as a tunnel collapse left and still leaves workers trapped inside. Spirit says this will sadly become way all too common as we step into 2024. I'll talk all about that today as well. And in my last channel prediction video, Spirit also warned us about artificial intelligence. And I mentioned that AI would become a forefront of controversy in the year 2024. Well, this controversy is already beginning to flare up, and it just erupted like never before, as the CEO and the founder, the godfather of AI, they call him, ChatGPT, has just been ousted by his own company. This would also align with my past predictions, where I said we're going to see CEOs and leaders being ousted from position. Well, that just happened to this guy. And isn't it the same thing? Isn't that what happened with Zuckerberg and the whole Facebook movement? If you watch the movie, I watched that movie. Yeah, he did the same thing, ousted out the creator. You know, get what you want, take it out, and we all saw that in the movie, if you recall. So the true founder of Facebook, interesting, is now the guy from AI is experiencing the same thing. I don't even know what that guy's name is. See, they made us forget so easily who the other guy was that founded Facebook, the real person that founded it. But anyway, so what's going to happen with the godfather of AI? And what's going to happen with AI? We're going to have to go over that today, of course, without a doubt. Another earthquake in an area that Spirit warned, this time the Philippines, where a 6.7 earthquake toppled a building. But also, I said a quake would hit in odd areas. And one of those odd areas I said would hit would be the UK. And they did have a mild earthquake, but that's very rare there. So who could be next? Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about earthquakes. Talked a lot about that recently, so we'll just touch a little bit on it today. Earlier this year, Spirit told us that we would begin to see the loss of many big-name celebrities and politicians, which we already are beginning to see those names disappear. And many have left us already in 2023, and there's more to come. The most recent, of course, was Rosalind Carter, the wife of former President Jimmy Carter. And we can now easily guess that Jimmy will soon follow behind her, passing in the end, sadly, from a broken heart. That's a real thing. A real thing. My grandmama had it, but she died from a broken heart when Grandpapa went. So Spirit says that her passing will once again now initiate a group of big name celebrities and politicians that will follow behind her. But who exactly could they be? And when exactly is this going to happen? I remind you too that in the past, actually somebody reminded me, because I forgot, I can't remember everything that comes through from the spirits, that we would see 2 presidential deaths around the same time. It's kind of looking like Jimmy's definitely going to be one of them. So who's going to fall behind him? Is it going to be JB? Or could it be DT? And to take out a DT? Because that's definitely their plan. Whether they succeed or not, I doubt it. But it's definitely a plan. So did you know that in the United States, huge concern here, friends, huge concern. The FCC just voted to seize control of our internet. Interesting, isn't it? Just in time for the corrupt 2024 campaigns, right? And in Australia, mate, they're doing the same exact thing. And actions being taken in Australia as the elite work so hard to take control of our freedoms and what our wisdom, our knowledge. Suppressing the internet, suppressing any information they don't want you to have, including, knowledge, even our history that's been changed and altered so many times, and we know that as a fact today. So all of this today we're going to talk about, along with the creepy palm scanners that they have at Whole Foods and Amazon. Palm scanners. The new, again, FCC internet takeover in the United States and Australia, and so much more today on episode number 92 of Tuesday's Prediction Updates. And my friends, you know what time it is. It's tea time, baby. Once again, I say to you, welcome, Satnam Ola. I hope you're having a great day. I welcome you back to my channel. I welcome you to my channel if you are new here. And if you are new here and you want accurate predictions, prophecy, truth, and good content, you found the perfect tribe, baby. Smash that subscribe. Thank you for showing me your love by clicking that like button. It actually helps out and helps out the algorithms. Down below, you will find the link to my newsletter, along with a link to information about how to access my 2024 world predictions early in a special live event in which I will be recording for later uploads to social media platforms. So you're going to want to check that out down below. Also, remember, you can find me on Spotify, Rumble, and all those places. And if you're on Spotify, go over to Spirit Speaks Predictions and give me a follow, please. I greatly appreciate it. And I greatly appreciate all of those who make this free content possible for everybody else. Whether you're a member of the community below, a member of the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community, the contributions that come through PayPal, Venmo, and all those places, I couldn't do it without you. And I am so absolutely grateful with infinite love and gratitude. So shall we move on with episode number 92 of Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time Predictions Update. We start today's episode talking about all the crazy incidents that are happening around hospitals. Hospitals, friends. And in two separate videos in the past, just recently, I warned that this was going to occur around hospitals and weird events, including, pow pow. Unfortunately, sadly, we just saw that occur over there in the Middle East where another hospital was hit. Tragic, absolutely tragic. And if we look this past week, we also seen in New Hampshire, I just had a brain fart. In New Hampshire, we just saw a gunman go into a hospital that unfortunately claimed the life of the security guard and of himself. Very, very sad situation there. I believe that's the whole story. Security guard in New Hampshire, and the shooting, and the suspect was shot by the authorities, police officer. Security guard working at the New Hampshire Psychiatric Hospital was fatally shot Friday as the suspect was shot by state police troopers. Again, a sad situation. And again, why with hospitals? What is all this weirdness and crazy events taking place around hospitals? Especially with, pow pow. And right after I said it in that video last week, what was it, a day later it happened? Really creepy. It's amazing how some predictions come true like that, and some take a while. Especially when I do the yearly predictions, sometimes they take 2 years to come into fruition. It was 2017 where I said I saw people wearing masks on their face all over the globe and an outbreak of a virus, which happened 3 years later. So one of my visions, one of my past visions as a reminder to y'all, was that there would be a pow pow event that would occur in the parking lot in front of a hospital leading into the front doors of a hospital, likely an emergency room, which was the visions I had last week that I shared with you, in case you missed it. And if you did miss that channeled prediction video, I'll leave a link up above so that you can catch it. Good stuff, good information. And I have another channeled video with 2024, little taste of 2024 through the spirits and channeling and transmeditation. That will broadcast tomorrow evening. You're not going to want to miss it. So be sure to go over there and hit your notifications so that you don't forget. So going back, I had some more visions revolved around that. Besides that, speaking of emergency rooms, I do see a crazy, angry man that drives his truck right through the front glass window and door of an emergency room. I do not feel, however, that there will be any injuries, thankfully, and the crazed man will be carted off to jail, in which he will actually serve several years. So, if you're in a hospital emergency room, don't sit near the glass. Sit inside. Don't sit. And that's really anywhere you go. You just never know. Accidents happen all the time where people, especially the older people, if their car goes into drive or something, I've seen it happen, and they go right through the building. It happens, unfortunately, way too commonly. But this is a crazed man. This isn't an accident. This is a crazed man driving in for whatever reason. I also see some type of issue arising around a large hospital in Italy, to our friends in Italy. Not very clear on the details of this, but it could be related potentially to an event that happens, of course, that shuts down the hospital. I mean, what else would it be? Separately, I see large amounts of people crowded in front of several hospitals. It looked like 3 or 4 different facilities. Not necessarily all hospitals, but emergency facilities. And this actually felt more to me like people in whatever city these visions were all suddenly sick or something. It was like, felt like a sudden shock to the medical system. Kind of like, sort of, I mean, like what you have happening in the Middle East, the shock to their hospital, and they can't take all the injured people. But that's not the case. It's the best example I can give you. Could be that people get sick. I'm not sure, but I just saw one particular city with very, very crowded hospitals. Out front, like crowds of people. Perhaps something related to the waters too could be potentially the case, like some type of chemicals or chemicals in the water or chemicals not in the water, but some kind of chemical leak. Actually, that would be another good reason, a chemical leak that causes all these people to become sick and rushing into the emergency rooms. So let us hold in the light that that doesn't happen and that, that people are protected from whatever, and that medical facilities, local emergency and medical facilities can take on the hits of people that they receive. Spirit also gives me a feeling that there is a hidden attack on hospitals that's kind of being planned or what have you, in a different way, not like a physical attack. I mean, I guess it's somewhat physical. So you're going to see many hospitals now becoming mismanaged to the point of not being able to afford the costs of lawsuits along with other costs that will purposely be raised extremely high to prevent smaller hospitals from getting the proper equipment. Sounds like a takeover, right? Again, you're a small independently owned hospital or a smaller company and you need a new X-ray machine. And they purposely quadruple the costs to make it so expensive for you to be able to afford the equipment. And that's what Spirit gave me the feeling is happening already with hospitals. And, I have friends that work in the hospitals and family. I'll have to ask about this. But sure, it's without a doubt happening. Especially if Spirit said it. To me, it's happening. Or it's definitely coming to happen. But again, raising all these things so that the hospitals not owned by big corporations in the same big corporations, it's all their goal to monopolize the whole entire medical system. And even more so than it already is. I mean, it already is, but even more so. We see it with everything. There used to be several different cable companies that you could choose from. Now there's like two, right? Several different phone companies you could choose from. Now there's just a handful. They're breaking everything down so that you only have a choice, that you only can get it from one source. And eventually, of course, they want the government to be the source that owns it all. But this is what's happening with hospitals, a big corporate takeover. And this is really going to affect, especially the United States and nearby hospitals in smaller communities. And this is where it really kind of gets scarier. Smaller hospitals and smaller communities are going to begin closing down due to all the things we just talked about. And then therefore, people are going to have to go much further distance to travel to get to receive emergency care. Therefore, bringing about more people's deaths because they don't make it to the hospital in time. Now, that happened right here in Sedona where they shut it down and you have to go further to get good medical health and what have you. That's my lunch bell. But we'll move on for a minute and finish this topic before I take a break. And that just, lunch bell just, yeah, so that's the hospital situation, friends. Sad. Now, the people in Haiti also witnessed a big scare with hospitals as they were surrounded by a big gang of hoodlums. It was police in Haiti rescued scores of patients, including little kids, who were in the hospital after the capital city was surrounded by heavily armed gang on Wednesday. The gang calls themselves Brooklyn. I don't know where they got that. They're not. They're far from Brooklyn, that's for sure. The gang had set homes near the hospital on fire and prevented many patients from leaving the facility. That's just awful. Just awful. Awful, awful. Prayers to the people in Haiti because that's just awful. There goes the bell. We're going to have to take a break for a moment, turn off that darn bell. I forgot I said it. All right, moving right along. My apologies. So why is it all of a sudden that all these hospitals are in the top news stories? This somewhat aligns actually with one of my past predictions of a collapse of our current medical system. It's happening, friends. It needs to happen. I've been saying this for over a decade. Everything's going to collapse. Everything as we know it. The economy, the current currencies that we use, everything. Because in order for us to go to the new earth, everything has to be left behind. The medical community needs to be rebuilt from the ground up, utilizing, again, grounded spiritual practices, natural medicine, and advanced medicines that they have today. It's just they hold all the good stuff for the rich people, right? Not the rest of us. Well, that's going to change. It's very much going to change. But it's all going to collapse because in order for us, again, to have those natural, true methods of healing, along with advanced technologies of healing, they're not going to allow that in the current monopolized corporate medical, especially with pharma. They're not going to allow it. So therefore, it all has to collapse. And sadly, right now, it's the dark ones that are taking out the little hospitals by doing the things that I just mentioned to you. Raising the prices, shutting down small communities. Another goal that Spirit says of this is shutting down hospitals in small communities. Eventually, you'll see schools start to shut down in small communities. And this will force people to move out of small communities and get closer to the cities. That's what they've been wanting for a long time. Look, if you have ever seen any content on rural America and all the empty little ghost towns in America now, it's crazy. And that's why. Factories shut down, there's no jobs. Hospitals shut down, there's nowhere to get care. So you have to move closer to where this thing is. Another big example is cannabis and the cannabis industry. Did you know the cannabis industry, there's a huge takeover. I was going to do a video on it. I forgot all about it actually till today. Because there's a huge takeover happening with the cannabis industry. And you'll never guess, or maybe you will, who's buying out all the cannabis? Take a guess. I'll tell you, first word begins with a color. Last one is something we find on the ground outside. BlackRock, baby. Yep, buying them out. They're trying to buy out the Curaleaf out here. Curaleaf is owned by a Russian Canadian. I told you way back to buy some stock in that. And if you would have listened, you would have made some money. I don't know where it's at right now. Let's move on to Bang Bangs, unfortunately. Because as you probably heard by now, there's also a gunman was pronounced deceased after entering a Walmart in Ohio and injuring 4 people with his weapon. I warned you about Lucifer's Hub. Lucifer's Hub, baby. So 4 people were shot Monday night in a Walmart in Beaver Creek, Ohio by a man who walked in and started firing, said the Dalton police. 3 of these victims were in critical condition and the 4th victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Sad event. Did they tell us why? They don't tell us why. Like, what was his motive here besides being a cray-cray person? Cray-cray people. Didn't I tell you people were going to start losing their minds? Doing crazy things. Right? Wait until next year. This is just the beginning. It's just going to intensify. That's why you're not going to want to miss my 2024 predictions. And remember down below to sign up to my newsletter so you don't miss anything that's coming up. So Spirit has also warned us for quite some time that when it comes to being, that we need to be mindful when we're out and about shopping, especially during this holiday season and especially in places like Walmart's. For some reason, there's something about Walmart and Target, mainly Walmart. It's the energy. I never actually thought about doing the numerology around it and see why the vibration of that place is so bad. Like, I won't go in one. I refuse. I won't order from them. I won't go in one. I just absolutely refuse. The energy is just too not good. So for some reason, they seem to be one of the big places that has that vibration and energy. And all these events that we've seen and will continue to see involving deadly weapons. Incidents like this are going to be what the corporations are going to use as an excuse when people discover their new advanced security, their AI systems that they already are in place, but the new ones that are coming over the next year. When these go into place in 2024 and 2025, people get a load of it, people are going to be really upset about that. Very big invasion of privacy. Not to mention that you're going to find that AI is going to replace many of Walmart's employees. And not just Walmart either, friends. Even though Spirit has told us that, be mindful when we're shopping and such, I do not feel necessarily that this holiday season will be as much of a concern as next year's. So, this year, it's much safer to be out shopping this year. Let's put it that way. And always know that you're safe and protected anyway. When you do and you pray and you hold that in the light, you will always be okay. Maybe those around you might not be, but at least you know you will be. Stay connected to the divine. Stay connected to the earth. So let's move on to the Capitol building, because once again, we're seeing problems arising right around Washington, D.C.'s Capitol Police. Except this time, they're actually doing something to protect the building. They didn't in the past, but this time they're protecting the building. And we all know how well they did their jobs in the past. We all know. But not very well, actually. So first, we have the newest media push of propaganda revolved around this historic building, the Capitol building. And of course, the global protests that are taking place, which Spirit warned us earlier this year that was going to occur. Well, now those global protests have once again reached the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Capitol Police confront fallout from violent protests at Democratic headquarters. The Capitol Police announced that a protest has turned violent outside the Democratic Party headquarters Wednesday night, resulting in one or more arrests for assaulting an officer. A group of protesters advocating for the ceasefire in Israel-Hamas war had blocked an entrance to the headquarters, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, interesting. But it gets more interesting. Hold on now, friends. Because what I find most interesting about this whole subject is that the Capitol Police all of a sudden just started conducting drills at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., sending out special notices to locals to let locals know and alert them that they were going to conduct these drills. So why all of a sudden they conducting drills and sending out letters to the locals to let them know they're doing so? Isn't it a little late for that? I think it's a little late for that. I mean, it's always good to be prepared for future still, but they should have done that a long time ago. It's Washington, D.C., friends. It's supposed to be like one of the most protected places of all. So more than likely, this is more of something in which they are actually rehearsing. It's not a drill. We know, like, they do their military drills and then they go in and do military attacks that align with their drills. Just saying. So these drills are for something. There's something. And if we go back, again, what are they rehearsing for? Another upcoming rig system, maybe? Or if you know what I mean. But remember, I made predictions in the past, quite a while back actually, that the Capitol building would be a target of disaster in the future. Basically telling you that there was a secret global plan to destroy the building completely in order to strike, put a big strike against America and the freedom of America. A really hard strike against them. And I said this about the White House as well, if you recall. I said that there would be fire at the White House, and I've even had visions of people rushing through or pushing through the gates of the White House and actually successfully getting across. I don't know if they're going to get very far, but they're going to be fired upon. I know that because that was the vision I had. And this could be coming up really soon. I mean, we see these protests. So U.S. Capitol Police are conducting training exercises with military partners. Yes. U.S. Capitol Police announced Saturday that they were going to conduct training exercises with its military partners on Capitol grounds Sunday, the 19th of November. We will be conducting a training exercise with our military partners in Capitol grounds. Please do not be alarmed if you see emergency vehicles, said the U.S. Capitol Police. It's kind of, you got to admit, it's kind of interesting all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden. Anyway, let's move on to some cancel culture, shall we? Canceling Christmas. I've been telling you all for years now that the globalists are going to do everything possible to destroy the church and everything Jesus Christ stands for. Therefore, also attempting to damper Jesus' birthday, of course, Christmas Day. I also told you that we would eventually witness holiday celebrations, like holiday parades and other holiday celebrations being completely canceled. Another way of just using the cancel culture against humanity, of course. And what a better place for them to do it and for the evil doers to stomp their feet than in the town that Jesus was born in, little town of Bethlehem. Oh, little town of Bethlehem. I failed at my singing lessons. Let's look at this article here. My allergies today, it's so weird. The birthplace of Jesus is dismantling all Christmas decorations in solidarity with our people in Gaza. Once a Christian stronghold, Christians are now a minority in the region due to the persecution, immigration, and low birth rates. I hate when ads pop up. That drives me crazy. City officials in the birthplace of Jesus Christ are now tearing down Christmas decorations in solidarity with Palestine's amid Israel's continued invasion of Gaza. I told you they'd dismantle Christmas. I told you they would put an attack on Christmas. And to do that in the home of Jesus? Naughty, 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 naughty. Naughty, naughty. Dear Lord cannot be happy about that situation. And that's just the beginning. Start at the heart of it, right? Start at the heart of the holiday, right? Where it all started. That's basically what they're doing. And I'm somewhat shocked, again, that this year's Thanksgiving Day parade in New York City hasn't been canceled and they're still moving forward with it. Remember my past predictions, again, of holiday celebrations and parades being canceled. And yes, we are seeing this cancel attack happening on Jesus, especially in his hometown of Bethlehem. But we're also, keep in mind that some of the predictions do take a year or so to take place. So I will tell you that this year's holiday, we're seeing the beginning of it. But next year's holiday, it's going to be quite different. And we could even actually next year be on some type of a lockdown due to different events that are going to take place in 2024. Not necessarily a bug either, but other events. So New York, you would think that they would hire hundreds of, and maybe they did, I don't know, maybe they did. But you would think that they'd be telling you that they hired hundreds of new law enforcement officers to protect the streets of New York for the upcoming holiday season. Because as New York is already has enough problems in their hands full, now it's becoming jam-packed. A friend was just in New York, told me it was just crazy busy with people. And that, as we know, New York has always been a huge target. As I've been telling you for quite some time, for a while, that there is actually a plan in the Evil Agenda playbook to pose several attacks in NYC in the future. However, again, this may not necessarily happen this particular holiday season. You know, this is just the igniting of it all. I would think that, again, next year's season could be a lot more concerning. That's the word, concerning, than this year. But again, be mindful when you're out and about. Really important, because the evildoers who planned all these events are smart enough to wait a while. You know, wait until the hype dies down a little bit and then surprise them. Yeah, because, you know, people are kind of expecting it. People are talking about it. Psychics are predicting it. But, you know, again, wait. The element of surprise, right? Just like the element of surprise taking place at airports and travel drama. So many predictions, again, this year that are already happening and have come into fruition. One of them revolved around airports, airplanes, and travel. As I said, we would witness many more airports being shut down for various reasons. And we have seen it. We've witnessed this happen. Not just because of the conflicts that are happening in Europe and the Middle East, but also, you know, other places. Including, I said that there would be airport closures and restricted airspace due to a big volcanic eruption. As people in Iceland right now are currently on the edge of their seat expecting a huge eruption. Whether that be the one or not, don't know. But one airport was just shut down this past couple days for reasons you might have never have guessed. A UFO. That's right, friends. A UFO flying around an airport in India caused an alarm to shut down the airport and send fighter jets flying at this UFO. I told you the UFO stories would come back. It's the 7 vibration, friends. That's what the 7 vibration's all about. Shifting your beliefs and ascension. So pump all this out there to shift your belief system. And again, it's kind of like bowling a strike towards the church as well. Put out the whole UFO things, make people change what they believe. A UFO spotted over Imphal Airport. If I said that right, Imphal Airport, a brief history of the term. I don't need that. Flight operations at Imphal Burr International Airport in Manipur were affected over several hours on Sunday the 20th after an unidentified flying object was seen hovering above the airport. Hovering, friends. That's kind of creepy. Hovering above the airport. And 2 flights were diverted and 3 departing flights were delayed while the airport operations were shut down and then soon after resumed. I find it interesting. I find it kind of funny. It's probably India's own UFO. I wouldn't put it past them. I told you all the governments have them. It's, the new thing with the governments. Everybody got to have their own UFOs. Anyway, if you want to know more about some of my predictions around airports, because I made a lot of them recently, go back again and check out the video, Channeled Predictions. It's titled Attack on America. I did that last week, so check it out. I've also alerted you that we're still in this accident-prone energy, right? We've been in it for a while, and we're going to continue to endure this accident-prone energy until the end of the year, throughout the end of the year, and even into early January. So I've said that we would also, because of this accident-prone energy, that we would witness more accidents connected to planes, trains, and automobiles. I told you massive car pileups, which we saw in Louisiana a few weeks ago, sadly. Big one. A lot more to come, too, especially over this holiday weekend. Spirit's showing me now here in the United States. Big holiday. And I see storms coming, including ice. I'll tell you about that in a moment. So exactly, this is what we're seeing with planes, trains, and automobiles. There were just 2 train accidents this week, the same day as something else happened that day. Darn, I forget what it was. I drew a blank. I can't remember. But two train accidents in the United States. So we're seeing more plane crashes. And did you know, when it comes to small planes, there is a record amount of small plane crashes that have occurred in the past few months and this year, actually, in 2023. All mostly when we were in that accident-prone energy. Because remember, we were in it at some point earlier this year. We came out of it a little bit, and then we went back in it again. So during the times that we were really in it, there were record amounts of small plane crashes, mainly the small planes, which is really interesting. And even a friend of our channel, JSnip4, I saw a video of him up on the feed the other day of him laying back all beat up and bruised up. Well, apparently, he's very, very fortunate that the spirits have protected him. That's what I gotta say. He's a very, very lucky soul because he survived after his plane engine failed and his small plane crashed into a remote area. So prayers to JSnip4 because I'm not, man, that would have scared the bejesus out of me. And it takes a lot to scare me, but that one would do it. I would do it. That would make me never want to ride on a plane again. Although I probably still would, but never make me want to. So we're going to see that, and we're going to see a lot of traveling accident-prone over the weekend and incidents. And they're already telling us, it's the biggest travel ever. They're also telling us it's cheaper this year for Thanksgiving. I'll talk about that at the very end of today. So let's talk more about our infrastructure and the attacks on our infrastructure. Not all attacks, actually. Not necessarily all attacks. Let me rephrase that. The crumbling of infrastructures. And I've talked about this multiple times over the past few years. And it seems, at least here in the United States, that mass media and our own FBI keeps pursuing this agenda that our infrastructures are at great risk of being attacked. They've been pushing that agenda really strong the past couple weeks, past month, actually. As if we're like, why? You got to know when the media is pushing an agenda. And, the FBI, and I told you they even put out a list of cities. Cities that anybody, a little kid could have guessed what cities that would be vulnerable. So my question is, why hasn't any of these people been no arrest? The FBI, they put out all this fear that our infrastructures are going to be attacked, especially power grids. and the cities that they put out. So if those cities are the ones at risk, such a risk, why are they such a risk? And why are they not there and at least arrested one person by now? Come on, they know everything that goes in and out of this country. You can't tell me they don't know. I'm sorry, they know something. They just aren't telling us. And hopefully we will. We can hold in the light. You know, I've talked about massive arrests, but more of bigger people. But that could be a big part of it. That would be wonderful to see all these people that wish to bring harm to others all busted. But let us hold that in the light, because we have the power to make that happen between all of us anyway. So cities in danger that they told us about, and all pushing some type of an agenda, it feels like, as if somebody's planning something. So I would tell you not to worry about this as much as the media is trying to get you to worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it at all. I'd be mindful of it. I'd be prepared for it, but I wouldn't worry about it. Worrying ain't going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you anywhere. Especially, that's why the media puts it out there, to try to get you to worry about it. Instead, be like, thanks for alerting me. Now I know to be prepared and mindful, and you're good to go. Because this would also align with predictions I made a year ago, earlier this year, my January predictions about attacks occurring. Attacks that would have happened on infrastructure as well. Along with things crumbling, like the tunnel that crumbled over there in India, which I'll tell you about in a moment. But dams, look at the dams that we've seen break this year over in Libya, and all the other infrastructures crashing and deteriorating, mainly from floods, the ones in Libya anyway. Anyway, yeah, so they just seem to be pushing that in our faces for whatever reason. And we are going to see more of a crumbling of our infrastructure than attacks on our infrastructure, because a lot of it's just crumbling apart. And what's going to happen is like what happened again in Libya. All these storms come blowing in, and weather that we're not used to, or certain areas aren't used to, that just makes the crumbling infrastructure crumble even easier, right? So 41 workers were stuck in India in a tunnel for 10 days now, or 11 days now. And they are given hot meals as rescue operation shifts gear. God, could you imagine? That'd be awful. Stuck in a tunnel. 41 construction workers who have been trapped in a collapsed tunnel in northern India for over a week are finally getting hot meals. Tuesday, provided through a newly installed steel pipe that they're using to vent the stuff in. They also stuck a small tube in there to give them oxygen and air. Actually, there's a video here. I didn't know that. Darn. Oh, you can go find the video. I'm not going to put it on. It's interesting. Again, this aligns with my visions of tunnel collapses. And I see more of that occurring. Spirit just said there's one coming in Japan. That'll be more, again, related to avalanches, some type of avalanche or rock slide or mudslide due to weather. That'll be more likely, not necessarily coming up in the next month or so, but by February, or maybe in the month of February for Japan. That just came to me. Let's talk about creepy AI. Some people believe AI is the Antichrist. I do not. But it could make sense. It's going to be used by the Antichrist, that's for sure. And we can all agree that AI has basically hit humanity so far like a Mack truck, advancing so friggin' quickly that now there's absolutely no turning back and no slowing it down, even though many warnings. Look, even Elon warned about it, even though he's in AI, which doesn't make sense. You warn about it, but you continue to use it yourself. Instead of, what's happening is the exact opposite. It's moving faster and faster and faster. Faster than a roller coaster. And Spirit warned us that in 2024, in one of my videos, I think it was the channeled video that I did, the Attack on America one maybe? I can't remember. But they warned us, Spirit warned us, that AI would become a huge controversy. Actually, I think it's in the video you haven't seen yet. Bingo! 2024 prediction channeled video that airs tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss it. It's some good stuff. Not thorough as my New Year's predictions are, because it's just a short channel video that I wanted to tap in and see what I got. And I got some good information. You're not going to want to miss it. So, AI, that's going to be a big, big problem next year. Big controversy. and big time. So Spirit warned us that 2024 is going to be a huge controversy, especially when it comes to companies like Walmart, Target, Mickey D's, and now even Whole Foods, who now has the human palm scan. That's right. You put your little palm up and you scan it. That's creepy to me. And why that? They already got our fingerprints. That's why. They got your fingerprints when you got a cell phone and you used your fingerprint. Remember that? And then they got rid of that because they got your fingerprint and now they do the face recognition for you to get in your phone. You don't think they keep that all in a database? Of course they do. How does sometimes my phone recognize me with glasses on and our sunglasses on? How does it know that? That's just creepy to me. Very, very creepy to me. So did you see that was creepy palm palm scanners that they have there at Whole Foods? I saw that a couple weeks ago. I meant to tell you about it a couple weeks ago, but I saw it. I went into Whole Foods. I don't go in there very often. But I went in there and I saw them. I'm like, that is creepy. Nothing like pushing the mark of the beast out of the book of Revelation, baby. That's exactly what it feels like to me. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with ChatGPT. ChatGPT artificial intelligence that was created by a man by the name of Sam Altman, who they now call the godfather of AI, the creator and godfather of AI. Well, Sam I Am is no more. Sam I Am is no more. As his own company, this is just so sad that this stuff happens in this world. His own company just ousted him from his CEO position. Interesting, right? Can you say government CIA takeover, friends? Yep. This is exactly the same way that Zuckerberg took control of Facebook back in the day. A system, he certainly did not create at all. It wasn't his thing. He was in on it, but it wasn't his thing. Now, he ousted out his partner just like they're ousting out Sam Altman. It's kind of sad. They're going to regret that, Spirit says. I don't know how, but Spirit just said they're going to regret that. Interesting. Yeah, it was last Friday that somebody sent a text message to his boss and fellow board members that Sam Altman could go jump on a video chat where they fired him. It's the basis of the story. There's no really other story there other than him being ousted. It's wild to me. So, but yeah, CIA, baby. That's what it felt like to me. This is just how the world we live in today, friends, that the globalists and the government, backed by their own organizations, whether it be FBI, CIA, or any other abbreviation that they can come up with, that can come in and just take over your technologies after you create them and then use them against us in the ways that we don't even realize they are being used against us. Although Snowden let us know a lot about how they were being used against us. So we know that now that Facebook basically is a data bank for, the AIC. We'll call them AIC. We'll do it reversed. The AIC. It's a data bank. It's a face recognition system. And with that face recognition system, friends, they know if you're on there, they know your most recent pictures of you. They know who all your friends are, who you talk to, what you probably buy on the grocery store, and soon they'll know what time you sit on the toilet. As crazy as it is, they probably already do know. Spirit says just wait until next year, when the biggest whistleblower since Snowden and Julian Assange steps forward. Bigger than them. Bigger. There will be 3, and I think Spirit told us about this a while back. So, and if you're new to this, what happens very often, some predictions happen like that. I'll say it, and a couple days later it happens, like the hospital thing. But others, especially in my yearly predictions, it can take 2 years or a little bit longer or less, give or take, for them to come into occurrence. So when I get a repeat of information that I got in the past, it always seems to mean that we're, coming closer to that event coming into fruition. So 3 people is what Spirit showed me. It looked to me like it was 2 males and a female that come together in some way. And I saw also that one of them, soon after this whistle is blown, of course, has an accident. Of course. Soon after. That would be, information to pay very close attention to, friends. You see these 3 people that Spirit's telling us about come out, and then all of a sudden one passes in an automobile accident. I'm pretty sure it was a vehicle accident. I'm pretty sure, not 100%. What I am sure of is the earthquake that just hit the Philippines. Yes, I put out a lot of earthquake stuff recently, so go back to my past couple Tuesday shows and predictions. There's more in that. My Lord, I need some water. Excuse me, 1 second. Told you, allergies today. I don't know what it is. Well, I do. It's allergies. So a 6.7 earthquake hit the Philippines. And Spirit, that was in my list of places that I warned was the Philippines. And apparently it toppled a high-rise building. I think it was a high-rise building, or was it a high-rise crane? Yeah, it was a high-rise crane that toppled. On Friday, a 6.7 hit 16 miles southwest of the coastal area of Sarangani. I hate when that stuff pops up. That annoys me. I bet you it annoys you too, right? So holiday travel nightmares are coming for many. What's that got to do with earthquakes? I think that is in the wrong spot. Going back to earthquakes, another place I warned Ireland, and I asked y'all in the comments, and you let me know that it's like super rare for y'all to get them over there, and not so rare that the UK, according to one of you in the comments actually, that the UK recorded a 2.7, that's like minimal, earthquake in Cornwall on Sunday, the 19th of November, just off the coast, and was felt for 30 miles inland. Source Sky News UK. Thank you for your comment and giving me that information. I just said that like a week ago. UK, Ireland. And I said it was going to be minor, minimal, nothing big. And I wasn't sure if they got them there. And you all told me that, it's super rare. Well, then it happened. And then it happened. So again, go back to the past November predictions if you want to know more about some of the predictions for earthquakes. I didn't really tune into that today. I did tune into, again, the holiday travel nightmare that's coming up here, especially in the United States, as major storms are now coming across the east coast of the United States. That's just going to bring about even more nightmares. And I saw some type of roads turning to ice, causing many accidents, problems with the big bridge, and everything else that comes with a big ice storm. I'm assuming this ice storm's coming up this weekend, I'm guessing, or next couple weeks. I mean, within the next week. But that's what I saw for United States. Did you know another thing that you should be extremely concerned about, especially if you live in the United States of America? And remember, even the United States does something, Europe, France, and, UK, they all follow right behind each other. They're all sticking together. Canada, one does it, the rest of them do it. And you should be very, very concerned what they've just done here in the United States of America and in Australia, mate. They just happened to, if you haven't heard, a recent FCC vote to take control of our internet in the United States of America. And again, other countries are going to soon follow suit. I guarantee you. This is all part of the globalists and the WEF turning our planet into a prison planet. It's crazy. The FCC just voted to take control of the internet. Close pop. There we go. They voted the other day on a plan that gives the federal government full control over the internet. The plan passed by a 3-2 margin. A press release posted immediately after the meeting stated that in part, under the new rules, the commission can investigate possible instances of discrimination of broadband access, work with companies to solve problems, facilitate mediation, and when necessary, penalize companies for violating rules. The FCC will review consumer complaints of digital discrimination of access through the improved consumer complaint portal. Blah, 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 blah. Just in time for the elections of 2024, right? Take control of your internet. There's even a fight, and I think this is with Australia. Let me look. I think I have a link here. This gets filed, friends. This whole thing with this FCC gets filed right alongside of other crazy government laws meant to enslave us even more than we already are. You're not as free as you think you are. So right next to their latest push here in the United States, did you know they're pushing to make mandatory kill switches in all new vehicles. Mandatory kill switches so the government can turn your car off anytime they want. Friends, that is a dictatorship. Now, police already have a gadget, technology. I think it's kind of like a ray gun, sort of. They point it towards the car and it shuts off the engine. They have something like that. I've seen it used before on cop video or whatever. So they can do that without a kill switch. They have technology to show you. That's all they need. You do not need access to my vehicle that I paid for. No. Unless you're going to give me the vehicle. If you're going to pay for the vehicle and give it to me and that's a new one, I want a Lambo, government, then you could put a kill switch in it. I don't care. But it's got to be a Lambo. Other than that, if I pay for my vehicle, you are not putting a kill switch in my vehicle. Oh, no. Now, Australia is also responsible for starting this enslaved internet trend by also pushing for government control of their internet. Australia is changing how it regulates the internet, and no one's paying attention, according to this article. Often this decision in the corporate hands. Facebook, TikTok, and other major social media platforms have rules about what material they accept, but enforcement can be inconsistent and less than transparent. So now there's a new Online Safety Act in Australia that they are going to pass they just passed in the middle of this year. Among other powers, it requires the technology industry, which includes not just social media, but messaging services like SMS. That's creepy. That's your text messages, friends. Internet service providers, and even the company behind your modem to develop new codes that will regulate harmful online content. They want control of your modem. They want control of your text messages, which they already got that stuff. But now they're going to pass laws for it? That's to cover their butts for stuff they're already doing. Australia, you're a mess. I thought we were a mess. They want to take your modems and your text messages. Oh, we already know the United States takes our text messages. Whatever. Australia releases a new online safety standards to tackle terror in child content. Yeah, the same thing. The online safety regulatory appears to be heading off in a potential battle with Apple over its encrypted messaging app, iMessage, with the release of new standards that will So basically, it's simple to figure out is that everything's encrypted on the iPhone and your text messages. So Australia wants to make it and fight Apple so that they don't encrypt your technology and your messages. So again, they can go in and read whatever the heck they want. Not cool, Australia. You should be fighting. But remember, I think that's in my prediction video tomorrow, so I won't say anything now. I don't know if I said it last week or if it's tomorrow's video, but yeah, something's happening in Australia soon. Big stuff. Celebrity passings. Because earlier this year, I told you, and Spirit told us, is more like it, that we would see many big celebrity names begin to just drop off like flies. Politicians, celebrities, and even big names, elite people. We've seen a lot of that happen this year. But it seems to slow down. We haven't heard of any in a while until just recently. The Rosalind Carter, the former President Jimmy Carter's wife, just passed away. She's 98 years old. Man, we can all be lucky to make it that far. That's all I can say. I hope I make it that far. Healthy with the right mind on my head. Right mind on my shoulders. Head on my shoulders. Well, anyway, we can easily guess that, sadly, that Jimmy's going to soon follow behind his wife. Because he's going to die of a broken heart. No doubt about it. My grandma and mom did. So Spirit says that her passing, again, will bring once again a group of big names that will start to exit behind her. So again, we're going to see a slew of celebrity passings, whoever they may be. Not necessarily all Hollywood celebrities, but we'll see Jimmy Carter. And if you go back to my predictions, somebody reminded me of this yesterday or the other day, that I said in the past that we would see 2 funerals, back-to-back presidential funerals. So we know Carter's coming. We know it. I mean, you don't even need to be psychic to figure that one out. Especially now his wife passed, sadly. So that's just makes it even quicker that he will go. So who's going to be next? JB? It was in my predictions. I bet you it'll be him. I'll bet you. It could be a surprise though too. It could be DT. They're going to try to take him out, As I said before, they always keep showing me, Spirit shows me the whole JFK Jr. and what happened to him. So, I guess similarities, something similar. But they won't succeed. I feel like they won't succeed. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. Remember that? And I was singing that song to you, and soon after we found out that was code for the Queen's death, and then soon after that, the Queen passed away. May the Lord bless her soul. So check out this footage right here from London, England, with this bridge, the London Bridge, being jam-packed with protesters. This aligns, of course, with earlier 2023 predictions that we would see uprisings and people in the streets like crazy and protests, strikes, and walkouts. And this is, nothing compared to what's going to come in 2024. Nothing. So many people, were concerned with the amount of folks that were on the London Bridge, titling the footage of this video, London Bridge is Falling Down. So, I got that song after her passing too, if you remember. And I told you that something was going to happen with the London Bridge. So I just thought it was interesting when I saw that footage on X, I guess we say now. I saw that footage and I'm like, that's interesting because I said something about London Bridge falling. So interesting. I just thought it was interesting. No coincidences. We talked about Amazon's creepy palm scanners. And one other thing I wanted to mention is the fact that they say Thanksgiving's cheaper this year. Do you agree? I want to know in the comments. Because I know what I just went and spent for Thanksgiving dinner, and I was shocked how much money I spent. How much money. And now, again, Sedona is like a little bit of a ripoff when it comes to things. Like a turkey was like $40 here. That's a ripoff. You probably get one back east for $20-$25. But at the same time, I still bought Thanksgiving dinners here before, so it still should be around the same price every year. But no, it was higher. I don't know where they're thinking that they're trying to make people believe that things are cheaper. And they're not. I couldn't believe when I saw that story and I read that. I saw it and read it. It's cheaper this year. Baloney. I call baloney. Just from my experience, I spent more money this year. How about you? So two things. I forgot. So addressing comments. Somebody said in the comment, and all the time people be like, well, you didn't mention this and this happened. I only get so much time and I don't want to drag out a 2-hour-long video because nobody will watch it. Got to keep it at least an hour or just over an hour. So the rally in D.C. that happened last week or whatever it was. And to me, I didn't know about it, first of all, number one. Number two, when I did look at it, it looked like a pro-war rally to me. And I'm the opposite. I'm pro-peace. So it's all the more reason not to even talk about it. Pro-peace, baby. All we are saying is give peace a chance, baby. Give peace a chance. Tomorrow is the 22nd. Someone else also in the comments said you need to activate your chapters. Like real nasty, and they're the people that aren't really supporters of this work. They're the demanding ones that absorb free content as much as they can for free. The chapters are already activated. I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, what even is that? And I went and looked, and they're already activated. So I don't know what that person was talking about. I don't know how chapters work, but they are activated in all my videos. So if anybody knows how to do that, then I think y'all watching it, I think you have to go in and put them in. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'll have to look into that. Tomorrow is 11/22, the anniversary of JFK. And I wonder, if the CIA celebrates this day and for their accomplishments. Just saying. Although, they don't have old man Bush to help celebrate with them, who demised the whole thing, according to many conspiracy theorists. So, will something happen huge tomorrow? The eve of the holiday of Thanksgiving here in the United States. It was in my I think, November predictions, 11/22. I said something about it. So, I feel the energy is pretty calm today. So I would expect, hopefully, that it'll be that way tomorrow, too. We'll have to keep an eye on the energy. It is a powerful energy day. So do some meditation tomorrow. Absorb some of the energies, the 11/22 powerful angelic energies and light codes that you can absorb tomorrow and will absorb even if you don't try. It's the amazing thing about numbers and the vibrations on our planet. So I'm going to leave you with that. Remember tomorrow to catch my 2024 channel prediction video. That's just the first of many, many more to come. And if you enjoyed today's content, please do show your love and click that little like button down below. And if you're new to the tribe, yo, we welcome you to the tribe, baby. We welcome you to the tribe. Thanks for hitting that subscribe. Until the next time, I hope all my American friends have a great holiday. Celebrate the land that you live upon and things and blessings in your life. And we should do that every day, not just one day a year, every day. Very, very important. The more you focus on your blessings and miracles, the more blessings and miracles that will flow into your life. The more you bitch and complain, the more the universe will give us to bitch and complain about. So it's just not worth it. So friends, in turn, celebrate life, celebrate you, be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And until the next time, remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Why? Because you're freaking awesome. That's why. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste and much love.